Craving is not just the symptom of an addiction. It is also the understanding that you need, that you desire, that you have a passion for, that you want. And it is this craving that we see in this wonderful psalm, where the psalmist talks about being in a dry and thirsty land and wanting water. That what is craved for is something essential for life. It's not an add-on, it's not something additional, it's something that is necessary for life. That every single sinew calls out for. And that something is God. And it's that craving that is cultivated and asked for and prayed for and sought in human beings that then transforms our whole lives into a place where God can exist in every single part. Because once you crave God like that, you cannot do without Him. We see it in our own lives, in our loves. All human love and emotion and relationships are a kind of shadow, a backshine of the love of God for us. You will have noticed last week I was in a bit of a mess. Because Leon was still in London. I don't function very well. I function very badly on my own. And that is a reflection, a backshine of that love and passion that we have for God. Because when you love somebody on earth, you cannot do without them. You need them there all the time. You don't have them in little fixes. You have to have them there all the time. Even when they drive you nuts. Even when they say things to you which are deeply provoking. You cannot do without them. You crave them. You crave their presence. This is something perhaps many of us can understand from our personal lives. How much more for the God that created the ones we love, that created every last bit of us, the wood here, the air we breathe, the stars, the galaxies, the God that takes all forms and none, the God that we cannot put our finger upon, or restrict, or put in a box. This is a God that is with us at embarrassing times, as well as wonderful and grand times, when we look terrible, as well as when we look good. When we do terrible things, there is nothing we can do so terrible that God will no longer treat with us. There is nothing we can do so sordid, so cruel, so ignorant, so childish that God will not forgive. God made us, God understands us better than we understand ourselves. Just to finish, I've got a quote from Karl Rahner. Now, if any of you want to find this, I suggest you go onto Amazon, because Karl Rahner wrote the most wonderful prayer that is called the God of my daily drudge. And the quote from Karl Rahner says, oh, it's in the book, isn't it? He starts off by saying, I should like to bring my daily drudge before you, O Lord, the long hours and days crowned with everything else but you. Look at this daily drudge, my gentle God, you who are merciful to us men and women, for whom daily drudge is virtually all we are. Look at my soul, which is virtually nothing but a street on which the world's baggage carts roll, with its innumerable trivialities, with its gossip and fuss, with its nosiness and empty pretension. In face of you and your incorruptible truth, isn't my soul like a market, where junk dealers from every direction come together and sell the wretched riches of this world, a market where I, and indeed the world and his wife, are spreading sheer nothings in permanent, numbing restlessness. He thinks and prays deeply about this, that faced with the world and its confusion and its trials, surely it's hopeless. In the middle, he says, can we really say we have arrived in your presence when the daily drudge finally shows its true colours, when it proclaims that all is vanity and a chasing after wind, when I have the same experience as your preacher in Ecclesiastes? Is it in this simple sense that daily drudge is the way to you? And he finishes, after reveling in the impossibility of getting past the mundane, the irritating. He stops and says, "But if there is nowhere that you have given me a place to which we can just flee away in order to find you, and if everything can be the loss of you, the one, then I must also be able to find you in everything. Otherwise, humanity couldn't find you at all. Humanity that cannot exist without you. Therefore, I must seek you in everything. Each day is daily drudge, and each day is your day, the hour of your grace." Almighty God, give us the wisdom, the humility, and the insight, and the passion to seek you in everything we do, in all that is done to us, in all the places we go, in all our dalliances, in our celebrations, in our misery and in our pain, in the paying of bills and in the going to work. Give us the insight that you may shine through all these things and be present in them, that we do not have to flee from everything to try and find you, but in everything